Stop the footage right there. Look at Coco Gauff's face. That is not the look of a champion celebrating a Grand Slam title. That is the look of someone who just heard the quiet part said out loud. For 48 hours, the WTA has been scrubbing the internet, issuing clarifications, and telling you that what you heard in the post-match press conference was just a translation error. They want you to believe that the world number 2, Aryna Sabalenka, was just tired when she dismissed Coco Gauff's victory. But we do not look at press releases, we look at the receipts. And when you isolate the audio from the erratic microphone feed in the interview room, which we are going to play for you later in this video, you realize this was not a bad translation. It was a mask slip. Today, we are not just looking at a handshake. We are breaking down the 3 specific sentences that turned a rivalry into a Cold War, the ranking points that forced the WTA to intervene, and the 6-figure fine hidden in the rulebook that explains why the apology came so late. Look at the Hawkeye trace from the second set tiebreak on your screen right now. That ball was on the line by 3 millimeters. But watch the reaction in the player box. That is where the story actually begins. Before we get to the audio evidence that everyone is trying to delete, we have to understand the visible tension that led up to it. You cannot understand the explosion without looking at the fuse. Let us go back to the moment the trophy ceremony ended. Standard procedure says the runner-up gives credit to the winner. You say she played great. You say she was the better player today. It's a script every junior player learns by age 12. But watch Sabalenka. She does not look at Gauff. She looks at her box. And then she walks into the press room and drops a comment that the official transcript tried to smooth over. But before she even got to the microphone, the psychological warfare had already finished on the court. Let's test the theory that this was just competitive frustration against the tape. We pulled the high-angle footage of the final point. Gauff hits the passing shot, the crowd erupts. Watch Sabalenka's racket hand. She does not drop it in exhaustion. She taps it against her thigh 3 times. In behavioral analysis, this is a reset tick. It's a sign of calculated anger, not despair. She is not sad she lost. She's angry that the tactic failed. Then comes the handshake. We have timed it. 0.4 seconds. There is no eye contact. Her hand is limp and her shoulders are turned 45 degrees away from the net. This is not a good game handshake. This is a you got lucky handshake. To really see the difference, we have to compare this to her loss against Alina Rybakina 3 months ago. The handshake there lasted 1.2 seconds. There was a pat on the shoulder. There was sustained eye contact. The difference is respect. The 0.8-second gap between those 2 handshakes tells you everything the press conference confirmed. Sabalenka does not view Gauff as a peer. She views her as an obstacle that the system allowed to win. This specific physical snub sets the stage for the verbal attack that followed. Now we need to look at the context of why this match mattered so much, because the media is ignoring the financial stakes. This was not just about a trophy, it was about the race to Riyadh. By winning this title, Coco Gauff did not just take the hardware, she defended 2,000 ranking points. If she had lost, she would have dropped to world number 4. That drop is catastrophic for her earnings. We are not talking about prize money. We are talking about sponsorship clauses. Most top-tier racket contracts have a top 3 clause. If a player finishes the year outside the top 3, their base retainer can drop by up to 20%. In Gauff's case, falling to number 4 could have cost her approximately $250,000 in guaranteed contract money. Sabalenka knows this math. Her team knows this math. By discrediting the win, she is trying to devalue Gauff's marketability. It's a business tactic disguised as a sports opinion. If the public believes Gauff got lucky because the draw was weak, Gauff's brand value takes a hit. But the plan backfired because the clip of the comment went viral. This leads us to the H2H history, the bad blood that has been brewing for 18 months. Before this match, Sabalenka led the head-to-head record. She was comfortable. But something changed in the semifinal warm-up. We found fan footage from the practice courts on day 12 that the broadcast never showed. Gauff and Sabalenka were scheduled for back-to-back sessions on court 5. Usually, players cross paths, maybe give a nod. But look at this footage. Sabalenka's coach, Anton, physically steps in front of Gauff's path to the baseline. It's a territorial block. He stands there for 6 seconds, forcing Gauff to walk around the net post. Gauff does not flinch. She walks around. But the message was sent. We own this court. When you combine that territorial aggression with the post-match comments, a pattern emerges. This is not just about tennis. It's about hierarchy. The establishment of the tour, led by the Sabalenka camp, is reacting to a power shift. Gauff is not just winning, she is dismantling the power tennis style that Sabalenka relies on. And when a dominant force realizes their weapons no longer work, they don't change their game. They attack the legitimacy of the new winner. This brings us to the moment everyone is talking about, the smoking gun, the audio that the WTA tried to scrub. Let's go to the press room. Sabalenka is asked about Gauff's tactical shift in the second set. The reporter asks specifically about Gauff's improved forehand speed. Does she credit Gauff's speed? Does she credit the spin rate? No. She mentions Iga Swiatek. She says, and I quote, "If Iga was here, the level would be higher." Let that sentence sink in. She didn't just say she played badly. She said the champion, the woman holding the trophy 5 feet away in the other room, was a downgrade. In the coded language of elite tennis, this is the ultimate disrespect. It's a psychological weapon known as the erasure. By bringing up an absent player, she is telling the world that she did not lose to Coco. She lost to a ghost. She lost because the real competition was not there. It's a way to place an asterisk next to Gauff's title in the history books. And she thought she could get away with it because she was speaking quickly and emotional. But the microphones caught every syllable. Now we have to look at the rule book, because this is where the situation gets dangerous for Sabalenka. We have a source inside the production truck who confirmed that the WTA feed cut away from Sabalenka's box immediately after the match point. Why would they do that? Because lip readers were already dissecting what her box was screaming during the trophy presentation. While we can't verify the exact words without the raw audio file from the court microphones, the visual phonetics suggest a phrase that is banned under Section 4, Article 2 of the WTA Code of Conduct, regarding audible obscenities. If the umpire had heard it during the match, it would have been an immediate code violation. If it happened after the match, it's a fine of up to $20,000. But here's the kicker. If the investigation proves the comment was discriminatory or targeted at Gauff's heritage, the penalty is not a fine. It's a suspension. The rules state that any player found to have directed abusive language based on race or nationality faces a major offense charge. This carries a mandatory investigation period and a potential ban from tour events for up to 6 months. That is why the apology video dropped at 3 o'clock in the morning. That is why Sabalenka's agent is suddenly talking about respecting the next generation. They are not trying to save face. They are trying to save her eligibility for the year-end finals. If she gets suspended, she misses the biggest paycheck of the year. The calculation here is pure survival. They realized that the Iga comment, combined with the lip-reading evidence, was enough to trigger a conduct committee review. Let's go deeper into the ranking implications because this is the invisible war. Currently, the gap between world number 1 and world number 2 is less than 500 points. Every match matters. By creating this controversy, Sabalenka has actually distracted from the fact that she is losing ground in the rankings. It's a diversion tactic, but it's a costly one. The WTA has a strict policy on player conduct during media obligations. Section 3 of the player handbook states that players must not bring the game into disrepute. By implying that the tournament was illegitimate because Swiatek was absent, Sabalenka is technically devaluing the WTA's product. Historically, the tour does not like it when players mess with the brand. Remember when Serena Williams was fined for her comments at the US Open? The precedent is there. The WTA protects the shield. If they decide that Sabalenka's comments hurt the integrity of the final, they can fine her under the aggravated behavior clause. That fine can go up to $100,000. This is why the silence from the WTA headquarters is so loud right now. They are running the numbers, they are checking the transcripts, and they are deciding if they want to make an example out of her. But what about Coco Gauff? How did she handle this erasure? This is the part of the story that proves she has won the mental game. Gauff did not fire back in the press conference. She did not tweet a cryptic message. She posted a picture of the trophy with a single word caption: earned. That is it. No drama, no complaints, just a receipt. By refusing to engage in the mudslinging, Gauff forced Sabalenka to sit in the mess she created alone. It is a masterclass in PR, but it is also a sign of maturity that seems to be driving her opponents crazy. The tennis world is split. On one side, you have the purists, who say trash talk is part of the game. They say Sabalenka was just being honest. On the other side, you have the new guard, who see this for what it is, a refusal to accept that the hierarchy has changed. The old guard is holding on to the idea that power tennis is the only real tennis. Gauff's athleticism, her defense, her speed, it frustrates them because it neutralizes their biggest weapons. And when you cannot hit through someone and you cannot beat them, the only thing left to do is insult them. So where do we go from here? The Asian swing is starting. Gauff and Sabalenka are projected to meet in the semifinals of Beijing. Imagine the tension in that tunnel. Imagine the coin toss. The WTA marketing team is probably salivating at the ratings, but the officials are probably terrified. The umpires will be on high alert for any chatter from the box. The microphones will be turned up, and you can guarantee that every single handshake will be analyzed frame by frame. This rivalry has officially crossed the line from competitive to personal. It is no longer just about forehands and backhands. It is about respect. And right now, the deficit in respect is larger than the deficit in points. Sabalenka may have the higher ranking for now, but Gauff has the momentum. And more importantly, she has the moral high ground. The question is, how long can she keep it? If Sabalenka continues the psychological warfare, will Gauff crack? Or will she use it as fuel to take the #1 spot before the season ends? We also need to consider the impact on the locker room. Tennis is a small world. These players see each other every week. When a top player breaks the social contract like this, it isolates them. We're already hearing reports of other players distancing themselves from the Sabalenka camp. No one wants to be associated with the controversy. The isolation can affect performance. It creates a siege mentality, us against the world. That works for some players, but for others, it leads to burnout. We will have to watch Sabalenka's serve percentages in the next tournament. If they drop, it is a sign that the pressure is getting to her. And finally, let's talk about the fans. You. The comment section on the apology video is a war zone. The sport is growing, but drama like this polarizes the audience. It brings in new eyes, but are they the right eyes? The WTA wants to sell athleticism, not reality TV. But maybe, just maybe, this is exactly what tennis needs. A real rivalry with real heat. Not just polite applause, but genuine friction. Coco Gauff didn't just win a tennis match. She won a psychological war. She took the territorial block in practice, she took the cold handshake, and she took the insult in the press room. And she walked away with the check and the trophy. The media wants you to believe this is over. They want you to accept the apology and watch the next tournament. But now you know the truth. You know about the 0.4-second handshake. You know about the Iga comment. And you know that in the WTA, the most brutal shots are not hit with a racket. They are spoken into a microphone. We are going to keep tracking this story. We have alerts set for every press conference they do. If there is another slip, another leaked comment, another cold handshake, we will have the breakdown ready. Because in this era of tennis, the match does not end when the umpire says game, set, and match. It ends when the Wi-Fi cuts out. What do you think? Was Sabalenka just a sore loser, or was there a deeper bias in her refusal to give Goff credit? And should the WTA release the full, unedited audio from the players' box? Let us know in the comments. We'll be down there debating the rules with you. And if you want to know how the ranking math actually works when a player gets suspended, click the video on your screen now. We did the calculations, so you don't have to. This is Netcord News. See you on the court.